Hey, and welcome to a new episode. Oh, there was a lot of you. Sorry, my voice just glitched. That's partly due to the fact that it is, I think, the third video already.
And it's quite loud in here.
We're joined by Chris Lee, who is presenting over there. I hope you don't, it doesn't interfere too much. But next to me is a really special guest, Myles Gray, fellow nerd.
How do you do, fellow nerd?
Yeah, I'm doing really well.
I do as well.
Yeah, I saw a lot of Tanzu related stuff today.
Yes, indeed.
Which got me really excited.
Uh-huh.
And what are we looking here?
We are talking about Tanzu platform. So you could think of it as sort of our next iteration of how to do an application platform on Kubernetes and on CF. So the idea here is that we're offering an application platform that is generic across Kubernetes and Cloud Foundation. So whenever you deploy your app into the platform, you can choose what targets it goes onto. So whether that's K8s or a more traditional CF runtime.
And I heard even like third-party Kubernetes instances if needed.
Yeah, absolutely. So it can adopt third-party Kubernetes instances. It will provision AWS instances as well. Or, our primary target for this is vSphere.
Yeah.
vSphere with Tanzu, TKGS, VKGS, whatever. VKS?
VKS, that's a new one, right?
Yeah, today, right. Yeah.
So that's the rebranded
vSphere
IS control plane that got rebranded again?
No, IS control plane is the supervisor cluster, and then VKS is the Kubernetes service.
That was one. Yeah.
That would be it.
So, looking at what you're showing here, it's a kind of a demo application. I saw in a session earlier today where Nick Kuhn presented the same kind of application.
That's right. Yep.
Yeah. So, what is it that we're looking at?
So basically the platform, like I said, aims to sort of genericize the difference between Kubernetes and Cloud Foundation, but also it tries to make the developer's experience as simple as possible. So the idea is that we have 4 commands that the developer uses. So there's build, deploy, bind, and scale. So that's all a developer should ever have to do. No knowledge of Kubernetes, no knowledge of CF required. So basically how we achieve that is we abstract away how applications are scheduled using something called spaces and availability targets. So you can think of an availability target as where your application runs. So what clusters are grouped together, so you could have US East, US West, you have your clusters grouped inside that. Those are availability targets. And then you have capabilities. And capabilities could be things like an ingress controller, cert manager, some kind of Java-based runtime thing that you need to have inside Kubernetes. So a space is a combination of the availability target and those capabilities. So what you're doing is, with that space, you're abstracting away all that infrastructure stuff, and you're saying, look, this is what I need to make the app run. The platform takes care of rolling that out onto the infrastructure, and then whenever a developer pushes an app into the space, it just gets scheduled. It has nothing to do with the developer. They just push their code. It's that classic sort of, here's my code, make it run in the cloud, I don't care how, and it makes it so.
Like a literal CF push.
That is exactly the experience that we're trying to replicate, is CF push, but generic to Kubernetes and CF. Yeah.
Today I saw a really interesting slide showing the difference between a regular go-to-market, where an application needs to be built, it needs to be designed, scaled, all sorts of steps to get it into production, versus the developer experiencing following the Tanzu platform,
right?
Where it takes 45 minutes with just with just a single CF push.
So that's kind of the idea, right? We want to make it so that the resistance to getting an app into production is as low as possible. So we want it to be such that all we need is application code, and everything else gets taken care of by the platform. The only way you achieve that is through really robust automation. So if you have really robust automation, it lets you achieve things like, pushing some code, having it built into a container, push through a registry, build all the manifests that you need to deploy it to a cluster, and getting it deployed onto a cluster. That can all be done achievably in under a minute, as long as that's built up front. And that's kind of what we built with the platform.
Really cool. So if customers are like walking around, so it's the first day of Explore, we still have an entire week ahead. You'll be here the entire week, right?
You don't need to remind me, I know.
So if you want to know more about the Tanzu platform, be sure to visit Myles. He's here at the Consistent App Delivery for Kubernetes and Cloud Foundry booth, at the General VMware booth. So be sure to check him out. Myles, thanks so much. Enjoy this week. Anything you look forward to? Not particularly. Standing here all day talking about...
Talking to delightful people like yourself.
Fellow nerds.
Yes, indeed.
Okay, cool, man. Thanks. Okay, so thanks so much for watching. If you have any questions about the Tanzu platform, be sure to hit up Myles, and we'll see you in the next video.